Gayatri Mahamantra with your back straight. Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Gurudeva Maheshwara Gurudeva Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Akhand Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpatam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Om Shri Gurave Namah Vyasrupena Vahayami Sthapyami Dhyayami Pujyami Tato Namaskaram Karomi. Shrimed Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 11, Viratroop Darshan, Shlok number 1 and 2. Shlok number 1 and 2 are primarily an endorsement by the seeker, the timeless seeker. Arjuna represents the timeless seeker. Krishna represents the timeless teacher. Timeless teacher has so far been imparting lessons of Brahma Vidya about the science of consciousness. Now comes a point at the 11th chapter, at the outset of the 11th chapter, now conveys the divine teacher an endorsement and establishes the ability that he is eligible enough for the knowledge to come. Why? Because he has now understood whatever has been imparted to him. It's like establishing through what we generally do in today's times by way of examinations. Examinations are conducted in order to assess the growth, the learning of the student, how far the learning has been furthered. Here, on the contrary, not that the examiner is the teacher, whereas the student by itself becomes one's own examiner and elucidates in a very short manner what all has been imparted to it, not only what all has been imparted to it, but what is the outcome of that. Whatever Brahma Vidya, the science of consciousness, was imparted to the timeless student, what has it ultimately transformed into the seeker? Has the seeker undergone some inner growth? Or it's just about fetching some more information, gathering certain more terminology, and accumulating at the end of brain memory? No, it's not like that. Here, the student establishes to the teacher that I have undergone a transformation. These 10 chapters so far have given me a deep transformation. And that transformation is conveyed in just one single word. To the maximum, we can say in two words, which can be combined, can become a singular word. And what is that? We'll come down to the words of the exact words of the verse. But before that, I want to share with you the spirit of these two words so that you can easily connect to the Sanskrit words as well. He says, the transformation of your entire dissemination of the knowledge to me, whatever has emanated out of you, is that now the mithya drishti, the maya drishti, the delusion is now shattered. The delusion in me is now shattered. What do you mean by the delusion shattered? The moha nasht ho gaya. All my indulgence, all my holdings that were earlier disallowing for the truth to surface have now dissipated. Adiguru Shankaracharya makes a mention of that and he says, when the pure wisdom arises, it obviously means that delusion has shattered. All those bondings, all those bindings, which earlier was disallowing the ignorance to live, have now are now begun. So that are the words of the Adiguru Shankaracharya, rising of the pure wisdom. Now, rising of the pure wisdom means that now the seeker is able to understand the difference between the Nitya Anitya. Nitya means something that shall stay forever. Anitya means something that has got an age. Obviously, is not going to stay forever. That is the difference between Nitya and Anitya. Atma, Anatma. Atma is something which is consciousness. Anatma which means which is not consciousness, but even if it acts like consciousness, it is just like acting as satellite to the sun, like moon to the sun. Moon has no light of its own. The light is sourced to the sun. So the difference between Atma and Anatma is pure consciousness and anything other than consciousness. This kind of a strict discrimination, when perspicaciously done, then allows the truth to surface and a change in the priorities of a being. One who is under the grips of delusion shall always prioritize according to the deluded insight. It is but obvious. But when delusion dissipates, truth surfaces, then the prioritization shall always be in the favor of what? In the favor of Nitya, something which is eternal, something not which is going to lose its existence. It's for the eternity, it's for the consciousness, pure consciousness. So, pure wisdom will always side by pure consciousness. So, when this happens, it should be understood that pure wisdom has now surfaced. So, Arjuna, in the first verse of the chapter of Viratroop Darshan, mentions that my moha has now been shattered. The delusion, the deluded insight has shattered. The outcome of these 10 chapters to me, as I've observed, is that now I know what my ultimate priority is. That pure wisdom has surfaced. I know what is going to stay forever. I know what is pure consciousness. So, therefore, anything which is other than consciousness is something which is not going to stay forever and shall never be my priority, however attractive it may remain. So, there is no question for indulgence anymore. Mohadrishti or delusion means indulgence, because when we are gripped by ignorance, we indulge into subjects, people, and situations which ultimately have no existence in longevity. They all have an age. And when we side by the consciousness, by the eternity, then we become eligible for further evolution, further inner growth. So, Arjuna in the first verse establishes that Krishna, I have imbibed, absorbed, transformed, and I am also right now the incumbent who is eligible for the further knowledge which you are yet to impart upon me. In the second verse, he has a word of high praise for his teacher, for divine teacher Krishna, by mentioning him as the lotus eyed. And certain masters have de encrypted this encrypted word, the lotus eyed, as someone who is the protector of the Brahma Vidya, the science of consciousness, as conveying that, Master, you are the protector of the science of consciousness, and it's because of you alone that today I've evolved to such an extent where I can discriminate and distinguish between Nitya and Anitya, something which is eternity, something which is not going to stay forever. However alluring, attracting it may be, I am not going to indulge into that. So, this is the essence shared by these two verses. Let's come down to the Sanskrit pronunciation of the both the verses. And once we are going through that, we will also go on understanding them to a slightly more of their depth. Let's proceed now. Here they are before you. This is the first verse of the chapter, Viratroop Darshan. Madanugrahaya paramam guhyam adhyatma sangitam yat tvaya uktam vachah tena moha ayam vigataha mama. I hold deepest gratitude towards you, Master, because you have showered upon me this esoteric learning by the name Adhyatma Sangitam, which means the science of the consciousness. This is the esoteric understanding, cannot be shared with anyone and everyone. So you have done, it's a blessing which showered upon me. It's a great favor done to me. I hold deepest gratitude to you because only because of your showering upon me this blessedness in the form of Brahma Vidya, that my delusion is now begone. It has dissipated. In the second verse, it conveys Bhavapyayau hi bhutanam shrutau vistarashaha maya tvattah kamalpatrash mahatmayam apicha avyayam. This vicious cycle of birth and death and again birth, the cycle of birth and death, the karmic bondage. I have understood that. It's the cycle we have to break. In other words, the connotation that drives this line is that I have understood the vicious cycle which has to be now broken, because it is something which again and again leads towards reincarnation, again experiencing the fruits of the earlier incarnation, and again accumulating more karmic bondage, and again being born once again to then absorb the karmic outcome of the previous birth. And this cycle has to be broken. And I must appreciate you. It's because of you, because you are the protector of this Brahma Vidya, the knowledge about consciousness, the knowledge about how to truly evolve and bail out of this vicious cycle. You, the Kamal Patrasha, the lotus eyed one, it is you who has given me, who has shared with me the significance of the science of consciousness and about the vicious cycle of birth and death of all the beings, not only in the human form, whatever, any species, any form, 84 lakh yonia, all of them. You have opened my eyes. Prior to this, I considered this life as cut apart, as the only independent existence that I am going to bear. And nothing was before this, nothing shall be beyond this. So it was a cut apart. But now I see, I understand this is entangled into a cycle. There is something a larger, I have the larger picture of it. And because you are the protector of that knowledge, therefore I hold the deepest gratitude towards you. And I understand that it is you, the one which shall never destroy, Avinashi. You shall never destroy. You are there for eternity. You are there for eternity. You shall never destroy. Which proves that if I am the timeless seeker, it's because you are the timeless teacher with me, traveling as compatriots both at the same time. You will be there forever, and I shall be there forever. These are the understandings that we draw. Although the words in exactness may not convey this, but these are the understandings that we draw out of these words of the verse. So, these are the opening verses of this particular chapter by the student that give the timeless teacher an endorsement that whatever you have shared, all the time, attention, energy through all these 10 chapters that has been shared and invested upon me has resulted into an outcome that I have come out of the delusion which I was living into, the delusion I have brought forward from the past births as my experiences. And I've also gathered that same delusion, enriched the delusion in my present life, but now it is shattered, it is dissipated. Now I can see things as they are. Superimpositions have now begone. It's just because you, the protector of this knowledge, has shared this esoteric understanding with me that has enabled me now to further my priorities of the life accordingly. And I behold eligibility to seek more out of you for my own inner growth, my own inner evolution. These are the words at the outset of the chapter by Arjuna to his timeless master, timeless teacher, Krishna. more shall come in the classes to follow. ओम ही सत्य है, ओम ही सत्य है, ओम ही सत्य है.